You have found your way to this video, and perhaps with an interest in working with me more formally because you have problems and you want to solve your problems. The problem, however, as this relates to our consumption-based society, which then bleeds over into our spiritual culture, is that you already think you know the answer. You just want someone else to affirm it. And your surface response to hearing me say that might be, of course I don't know the answer. That's why I'm looking for a perspective other than my own. However, if you really think about it, if you're really honest, you come with a lot of expectations to be told what you want to hear. Especially if money is involved. We are deeply conditioned to believe that I should be getting what I'm paying for. When I have the money, I have power over the one I'm paying. And if I'm not satisfied with the product or the service, then I can complain or get a refund or not come back to that establishment. That is a subtle but obvious differential of power. Very often, unfortunately, so-called teachers of spirituality also succumb to that paradigm. And it's a disservice to the field in general, the sacred journey. It's a compromise, a sellout, just for popularity or to make money. And it becomes a codependent teacher-student relationship. Student needs teacher to reinforce their beliefs. Teacher needs student to reinforce their need for students or respect or attention or fame or popularity. And the quote-unquote problems never really get solved. They're only perpetuated and pushed down beneath the surface again to rise another day. there's also an increasingly popular category of professionals that call themselves gurus or spiritual teachers, or rather call themselves life coaches or therapists, thinking they are, or trying to play the role of guru or spiritual teacher. And historically, those two camps and categories have never been the same. In fact, as we know, life coach itself is very new on the scene. Therapist, psychotherapist, psychoanalyst, etc. It's a little older, but spiritual teacher, spiritual advisor, religious guide, guru, master is ancient and is a category unto itself. So, unfortunately, to the great detriment of both camps, as well as the students or clients or seekers or whatever word you want to call them, the two get mixed up together. And what I have seen as a spiritual teacher, I hesitate to use the word guru, but I am more in that category than life coach or even fitness instructor or yoga teacher, which I am, but that label has different connotations these days as well. Lots of yoga teachers like to be best friends with their students and go out to dinner and throw parties at their house. It's not much different than a mentor. Big brother, big sister kind of thing. Or a fitness instructor, a personal trainer. What I have seen is that people will come with their money expecting to get the product that they think they're paying for, which is usually to reinforce their belief system, to boost their self-esteem, to pat their ego on the back, just to keep them returning, just to keep the money flowing in. And it then causes the student to feel good about themselves, good about the exchange of money and what you're giving me. But at the same time, the problems persist. The suffering continues. Therapists have become a shoulder to cry on and a place to go where you're not going to be offended. A very politically correct environment. Conversation about political correctness is for another time. But it's not always actually helpful. You come to me to have your belief system deconstructed. You come to me to have your paradigm turned upside down. You come to me to question the source of your problems, issues, sufferings, to look unflinchingly into the darkness of your subconscious. You come to me to have your waters troubled, and then to find peace as a natural result. You come to me to expand your awareness, to explode your current worldview into a deeper, vaster, higher one. You come to me to reconnect with your true self. You come to me to be uncomfortable. All of this is in the name of truly solving your problems. But when it doesn't look like you think it should, you turn away or project all the blame onto me and make me into yet another problem. What if I were to tell you that your problems don't exist where you think they do, don't originate where you assume? Consider where you think your problems lie, where your problems come from. And we'll leave to the side for a moment abusive situations at home or at work. If someone is mistreating you, if you're in actual danger, of course, those must be handled differently. But down the road, for a more advanced course of this, they're not so different. But for now, what I'm talking about are your neurotic problems. The problems that you know don't need to be there. Your interpersonal problems, problems with other people, problems with the way the world is, problems in your relationship. Where do you think those come from? And how do you think they are best resolved? Often also, people come wanting a magic pill because we are deeply conditioned by doctors who just write prescriptions. And I'm using magic pill metaphorically, relating it to the doctors who write physical, chemical pills. Go to the doctor, here's my problem. The doctor writes a prescription without any deeper understanding of the source or any deeper healing of the problem. Just a blanket, often numbing out of the mere surface level symptoms. And nothing really changes. And the doctor did it for you, and you paid something in exchange, or insurance paid, and you didn't have to even pay anything. Waiting for someone else to do it for you, because you've not been yet given the tools to diagnose it yourself. And again, I'm speaking in a blend of metaphor and literal. How our literal conditioning has fed itself over into the deeper inner work that I'm talking about. And I'm not leaving physical issues and problems to the side. Those are often manifestations of a deeper unrest or unresolution, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, etc., karmically. What if I told you that I can help you evaporate your problems? But what if I told you that it's not the way you have thought? I am not a life coach. I am not a therapist. I am not a personal trainer. I am not a fitness instructor. I am not a yoga teacher in the way that you see yoga teachers operating in the world today. I am a guide. I am a conduit. I am a map maker and bridge builder to show you how to find your way to you, to direct your path to discovering the source, union with God, true healing, where problems vanish in the light of expanded states of awareness. That in these expanded states, when you press into them consistently enough, persistently enough, and eventually the gift of grace is given, that you forget the question, you forget why you even came. And the value of what you're receiving is in fact priceless, is beyond any monetary compensation or exchange of goods and services. It is actually what you came for. But you really didn't realize that's what you had come for. What if I told you your problems don't exist out there, don't exist separate from you, don't exist as an objective entity or reality, don't exist as anything that can hurt you? What if I told you your problems are self-generated? For some, when you hear that, you don't want to hear anymore. Why? Because you want to blame someone else or something else for your problems. But what else is blaming something else or someone else for your problems than giving them or that thing or that situation power over you? That person, that situation, you believe at least, has the power to make you happy or sad. And let's just use those very caricatured adjectives. They have the power to make you happy or sad. You might think, no, I don't really think that. But then, right on the heels of that statement, you'll say, but if they would only stop, of course, look at what they're doing. Or if I could only get their love, then I would be happy. What if I told you the source of your happiness and sadness was in you? Isn't that empowering? Isn't that liberating? What if I told you the goal is not to solve the problem, but is to uproot the source of it? Discover the source of all things. Discover the source of life. Discover the source of good. Discover the source of yourself. And all of that also might seem scary to some of you, because a lot of your problems have been distractions from what you perceive to be uncomfortable about what's arising, about your life, about yourself, about the present moment. Present moment is unbearable. Yourself is unbearable. Your mind is unbearable. Your body is unbearable. And so you look everywhere else because you can't stand to just be quiet and just be still. And just be present. But have you yet successfully escaped your problems? Have you yet successfully unloaded onto another person? Has it worked when you say, all my problems are because of that thing or that person? Did you get rid of them by giving it to them? No. They're still in you. So rearranging, rewiring, reorienting, and discovering from a brand new perspective and turning your world upside down is what you come to me for. To learn the tools. But the key is learning the tools. So you need a guide for a period of time to learn the tools. But I'm empowering you. I'm not making you dependent on me. And all the other methods have not worked. If they've worked, great. Then you're either watching this video for entertainment purposes or because you just like to look at my crazy lion's mane hair. Because if you're actually going to respond to what I'm saying, I'm calling you to account. I'm calling you to a deeper responsibility than you've ever had before. And that can seem scary to some. I know the way. I have the key, and I can show it to you. I can help awaken it in you and cultivate it together. For arriving at a place in yourself where problems vanish, where questions are no more, where you have met a love, a presence, a peace so immense, so profound, that nothing else can block its emanation from you, and your entire world changes. For all this and more, like, comment, subscribe, send me a message. What more do you want to hear about? Who or what is the root of your problem? Where do your problems exist? Be very honest. I can show you the way out. But it's not by resolving or fixing the storyline or pampering the ego or the nexus knot or the trauma pattern that got you mixed up in it in the first place. Where does it exist? Who or what is the common denominator? It's not what you think. And I can help you approach and receive a love, a peace, a presence so great, so profound, that everything else vanishes and everything else gets reorganized. But you have to do some work. You have to commit to it. Namaste.